Hello viewers, 4DIYers here back on the tutorial video for everyone. Now in this particular video here I'll be doing a demonstration of how to paint your keyless remote or key fob. Now this was a requested video, so just for future reference, if anybody does have any requests or any ideas for videos they would like to see in the future, don't hesitate to even make a comment for them or send me a personal message and I'll see what I can do. Now basically what I have here today is a Toyota keyless remote, and what I'll be doing here is I'll just be painting it with a custom color here. Now maybe you want to have a color match to your vehicle, or you just want to have a color that just stands out just to personalize it yourself. Now first we want to start by doing is disassembling the keyless remote. As you can see I've already done here. Now this one here just simply pops apart with a flat screwdriver. Now this will depend on what type of make or model your remote is as to how it pops apart. Now if you are looking for various videos on that, I do have some which pertain to Nissan, Hyundai, Ford, etc., and I will include the link to that playlist below in the description. I also do have one that's vehicle specific to the Toyota key fob, which is pertaining to this remote here, and I will include that in the description below. What you want to start by doing next is just giving it a good thorough wash to ensure that there is no debris or dirt or even just oil from your skin. As you can see here, I've already scuffed up the surfaces on both sides of the remote itself. You can see it's fairly even all the way around besides for those wet areas there. Now you want to make sure it is fairly even all the way around, because if you do leave any areas that aren't sanded down, what can happen is this can cause adhesion problems, and therefore it won't be as durable or the paint will start peeling. What I've used for this basically is wet dry 400 grit sandpaper and some maroon Scotch-Brite. Now the maroon Scotch-Brite is the closest amount of grit to the 400 grit sandpaper. Now I also have a pail of water here as well. Now with the sandpaper, basically what I use this for is, you can see there is some imperfections in the surface of the plastic. Now just basically from day-to-day usage, and any of those scratches here, they can cause so much of a cratering effect. What this can do here is it'll create a low spot, but it'll also create a high spot around that low area, and this can cause some imperfections after and be magnified after the painting process. So what you do is you use the 400 grit sandpaper to remove those high spots, which will therefore make those imperfections much smaller. Now as for the Scotch-Brite here, basically considering there is some high and low spots on here that the sandpaper doesn't always get to, such as the emblem here, even with the lower spots around the buttons, the Scotch-Brite does work excellent for that method there. Now just before I'm going to lace any paint on this, what I did, just give it a good wipe down with any rubbing alcohol. What this ensures is that it removes any contaminants on the surface, such as oil from your skin or even just oil from everyday usage, or any dirt or grime that may be present on the surface, which could cause some adhesion problems. Now as you can see here, I've also added just a little bit of tape on the inside there so I don't get any overspray inside the case itself. And because these are lighter objects and you do have an aerosol can here, what can happen is these can blow away off your painting surface. So I just folded a piece of tape so it's sticky on the one end here, as you can see. And what I'll do, I'll just press it down there like so, and it should hold it in place. Now considering this is a bare surface and also plastic, what I'll be applying here is an Adhesion Promoter by Duplicolor. And now what this ensures that the surface will have maximum adhesion for the paint and also durability. Now what I recommend using here is a two-stage paint. Basically what the intent of the two-stage paint is supposed to do here is we have a base coat and then we'll have a clear coat. Now the base coat does lay on to somewhat of a matte finish, and it doesn't have any protective layer on it, as opposed to a single stage paint here. Now usually with the two-stage paint here, what I also like about it is that it tends to be more durable than a single stage paint. So basically what we'll do here is we'll lay on 2 coats of the base coat here, and then we'll finish up with the final coat of a clear coat, which gives it its final shine. Now if you want to go for a little bit of a different finish here, you can go ahead and use a matte clear coat. It still has the protection that a regular clear coat does, but it just doesn't have that shine as opposed to this gloss clear coat here. Now when picking these two products here, you also want to make sure that your base coat and your clear coat are both compatible products, because you will have problems with either drying or adhesion, or even there might be a chemical reaction where the paint will wrinkle up. Then you'll have to redo the process over again, and you'll still have the same problems unless you pick 2 compatible paints basically. As you can see here, I've already applied the couple coats of paint. Now considering I am applying a darker color, I shouldn't have to worry about any ghosting in behind or any covering up issues, considering it is a black plastic in behind there. Now if you're going with a lighter color, possibly you will have to apply 3 coats to ensure there is nice even spread throughout it and everything is covered up properly. Now you don't want to go too heavy a coats where you're going to get runs in it, but you also want to apply just enough so it does end up nice and smooth on the surface here. With this one here, for the first coat, it was a medium coat, and then the second coat was a wet coat. Now once this is set up here and somewhat dried, but not too dry where it's going to cause adhesion problems, we'll go ahead and apply the clear coat. Now I'm probably just going to wait about 10 minutes for that to set up, and then So once I've applied the final coat of clear coat here, basically with the exact same process as I did with the base coat, I went ahead, applied a medium coat of clear, then a heavy coat of clear afterwards. So the heavy coat of clear ensures that there is a nice smooth surface with minimal orange peel, but you don't want to apply too heavy a coat where you're going to have any runs or drips in the paint. Now what I'll do is I'll leave this sit outside here for probably about a couple hours. Now it obviously depends where you're located and what the temperature is outside, of how long it'll take to harden up, at least to the touch. Once it's hardened to the touch, then go ahead, remove the tape from the inside. Then I'll just take it indoors for overnight just to ensure that it does dry and nothing happens to it. And you don't want to put it together just yet. I would leave it for at least 24 hours in order to put any pressure on it to snap the case back together, because this could cause some problems. Even though the paint is dry to a touch, it still doesn't mean it's fully hardened where it's going to be able to withstand any pressure or resistance towards that. Now once you've let the case dry for roughly about 24 hours, you can then go ahead and put it back together. Now the paint should be hard enough to put pressure on it if you do need to snap your case back together, and you should be left with a final product that looks like this. Now if you do find there's some orange peel on there, I would go ahead and just wet sand a little bit, and then you can go ahead with the polishing stages. Now if you're just wondering how to do that, you can just go with just a light 2000 grit sandpaper. Now you want to be careful running into the edges on this because you can sand through the paint surface. And then go ahead with some rubbing compound or polishing compound, then some scratch remover, and then finally some wax. Now if you're wondering why I have the zip tie on here, now I did find, because it was cool just over the last night there, and there was somewhat of a high humidity level, the paint is still not 100% fully hardened. It'll still take a couple days more to cure, but if you do still need to use your remote here, what I've done, I just added a zip tie on here so I can just hang it up on a key hook, and therefore that ensures that it doesn't rest on the surface. So if the paint does just happen to get a little soft, or there is some kind of reaction with the surface it does sit on, you won't have any damaged surface, or it won't damage your final paint finish until this is fully hardened. Now again, this will be dependent on how much paint you do apply, what type of paint you do use, and what type of climate you're in currently, of how long this will dry. So this concludes the rest of my tutorial video. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to post them below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my video. Thank you for watching.